The time is 6:30 p.m. on Friday, October 8th, 2021, Berlin time. You're listening to Eric on the World. I am your host, Eric, and I am very excited because we have a guest again today. The very funny comedian living here in Berlin, Fay Walsh. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I said very funny comedian, and I realized I don't know if I've ever seen you do stand-up before. But funny.
It's very funny.
I bet it is. You're a very funny human being to be with around.
I liked how you said the specific time, by the way. Like you just committed a murder, and you need me as your alibi.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I like people to feel like they're really living with me in the minute that this is happening.
Oh, nice.
And typically I release these later than I intend to, so they'll come out about 20 minutes after I do them. Okay. And people are like, oh, this is so up to date.
Yeah.
So we met at the Wall. I think you were getting me drunk.
Yes.
Behind the bar.
Doing my job, yeah.
And you perform, is that like would you call that like your home club? Do they have that here?
Not really. I mean, because the clubs are relatively new, but I mean, that's my home club because I work there as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right. And where are you from originally?
I'm from England originally, but I was born in Berlin. And
you were born? I forgot.
I was born in Berlin.
So you speak German?
I speak German. Well, I only learned German later on in life because I moved to England and then I moved back to Berlin when I was 10. Yeah. And that's when I started learning German.
And you have a younger sibling that speaks like great German, you said?
I have an older brother.
Oh, an older brother.
And 2 younger half-sisters.
Yeah.
Or sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a parent that is German?
Yeah, my mum's half German.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what point did you then when do you consider yourself having moved to Berlin?
When did I consider myself?
Well, no, I'm confused. Did you come here? So when did you move to Berlin?
All right, well, I'll give you the quick rundown.
Okay.
All right, so I was born in Berlin because my mum was visiting her mum.
Yeah.
Right? Who's German, who's Berliner.
Yeah.
And then I was born, which was a coincidence, and then we moved to America because of my mum's job.
Okay.
And then my mum quit her job after 3 years and thought, fuck that. And then we moved to England, where both my parents studied.
Yeah.
And then when I was 10, we moved to Berlin. Because they studied, they finished studying and they wanted to get a job. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So but parental-wise, is there any English in them?
Yeah. My mum's half German, half Welsh, and my dad's like English and Irish.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
Just Great Britain, not so Great Britain.
Well, I had this conversation recently with someone who's Welsh? What would you, a Welshie? Oh.
An arsehole, actually, is what I would say.
And they were very, specific about saying, they hated this term Great Britain, like it's this empire,
Yeah. No, but the Welsh and the Scottish and the Irish, they all hate England.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Right. And then I'm very bad at British accents. Where do we place this accent of yours?
This accent is from Northern England, like around the Manchester area, but it's toned down because of obviously lived in Berlin for 16 years. So,
right.
Where's your accent from?
My accent is from California.
Oh. No, but that's nice. That's okay.
I've found that, and I don't mean this in any entitled way. I've just found that I think I get more of a pass comedically than some other people speaking English, because some people have a barrier. It has nothing to do with them being funny or not.
Oh, they just associate it with stand-up comedy or what?
Well, it's just sometimes people literally have trouble understanding someone. If someone's coming from, I'm trying to name a country where people aren't
I've heard
from,
a couple of Irish comedians tell me that they feel like the audience isn't really understanding them properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm a native English speaker. Irish people are obviously native English speakers. Yeah. And there's been times when some Irish people have said some jokes on stage, and I'm like, I couldn't understand what was said.
I still understand it. But I mean, if you're visiting from fucking Pakistan, maybe you won't understand an Irish person, Treatings. It's like, what the fuck?
And that's for native English speakers, let alone people who learned English not natively and then are doing it in English.
I suppose Pakistan is native English, but another country.
I have a friend actually from the north in Sunderland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she teaches English online, like teaches kids in like Vietnam and stuff. And this is the funniest thing to me, but that they recently, like the company employed a policy where they're no longer accepting British speaking English speakers because they said they want Americans.
Ew.
Because it's considered a higher value accent in like the business world.
That's disgusting.
And this is the funniest thing to me. Literally, the language is called English, and they're like, yeah, but
they
don't
did it
want
better. Let's face it. No, I completely disagree with that.
Yeah.
Really? It comes across better? I would have thought English because it's like posh and like people, you know.
I think there's some posh accents. Like I think if you go BBC on it.
Yeah.
But I think like
sounds like a porn phrase.
I mean, I'm not saying this. Like I've just been told that because Hollywood exports so much fucking culture.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Also just the music as well, yeah.
Yeah, music, podcasts, Netflix, whatever, YouTube.
Yeah.
I was like in Cambodia and you get little 4-year-olds that are speaking perfect English. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And they're not even taking lessons. They're just the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Cambodia? Is that maybe colonization too? Maybe. That's so talented.
I am so... I'm bad at
English, French.
I mean, they had like a
I don't know, maybe.
There.
But I know that in some countries, like my friend went to Ghana or whatever for a year, Ghana or whatever, for a year, and she said that in the schools, a lot of the times they wouldn't allow the kids to speak their natural language, their like home language, local language, because they wanted them to speak English.
Yeah.
That's tough. Anyway, maybe we should not go down this road of.
No, I just, but in terms of comedy and like presentation,
you're bringing it back next.
I find it interesting.
Yeah.
I've gotten the people thinking I'm Irish, which I am by heritage, but I don't know if I have a lilt when I speak, but yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's American.
So, okay. So you do you have like memories from your time in the UK?
Oh, wait, one more thing quickly on the language is I've noticed as well that I get away with swearing far more easier than other people with an American accent, for example. Like I can say cunt, fuck, shit. Yeah. People are like, that was good, you know. Like I've had jokes where basically the punchline is me saying a bad word, you know, because people are like, oh my God, that sounds so nice. So that's good as an English person that you have that pass.
No, if I say the word cunt, it sounds like...
Ooh, don't say that. Oh my God. That's vicious.
It sounds like this with intention, Yeah, I'm looking to hurt people.
Yeah, fuck off, you cunt. Oh, Fay, silly goose.
I was just wondering, like, do you go back to the UK much? Or like, can you see like a big, like, what's your cultural experience in terms of the difference of Berlin versus...
Well, Berlin is also different from the rest of Germany, you know what I mean? Like the city is an actual state, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, the difference is basically I lived in a village and in a town in England, and then I moved to fucking Berlin. You know what I mean? Like me and my brother were weirdos, you know, just different. We just thought differently than everyone. And so we moved away at a perfect time, because in Berlin, thinking different and being different, that means you're cool. You know what I mean? And that means people like respect you for it. Yeah. So it was definitely good timing. You know what I mean?
Does that hold true even in childhood? Like the quote unquote weird kid at 14 is considered the cool kid, like in Berlin?
Well, I mean, it's all a matter of being confident, I suppose, but in a town or in a village where there's no escape and there is no other group of people that you can meet, it's even like you'll just be alone then, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas in Berlin, it's like a big city and there are millions of people, you know, you can always find a different friend, basically. Right. You just have to hang in there.
What part of Berlin did you grow up in?
I moved around quite a bit, but like Charlottenburg, Schöneberg, those were the main ones. Like,
is that like, so those first two, that's like northwest?
It's just in the west, basically.
My frame of reference, because I've only lived in Neukölln, is like the Tempelhoferfeld. Like, what direction is it from?
It's definitely west from that. Yeah. And then Mitte is considered the center, the middle? Yeah. Exactly. I've never lived in Mitte, and I'm proud of that.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, different people have different values, clearly, where they'll be like, oh, this is the best place to live. And they'll be talking about, like, Mitte or something like that.
Not Berlin. I mean,
I have two friends. They're Americans that run a podcast here, and one lives right around here.
Yeah.
Or near like Schulekitz, I think.
Yeah.
In Icon, and the other one lives in Prenzlauer Berg, and like neither would ever want to switch with the other.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there are different vibes to it's pretty evident. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I love like the cultural aspect of basically I just mean bars, but the culture.
Bars never close.
Yeah.
I love the culture.
I love that in this neighborhood. I do have to say sometimes it gets to me where like it's quite dirty on the streets.
Yeah. They don't take care of it around here.
No, you'll just find like used dirty diapers on the streets and just like people throwing stuff out.
Yeah. You find loads of free shit though. So if you want a dirty couch, that is.
Or a used diaper.
Yeah, or a used diaper. Yeah.
Yeah. Nappy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when did you start? How did you get into comedy? Like, what was your pathway?
Well, basically, I kind of always wanted to do it. I remember when I was like 12 or 13, and when your parents start inquiring about what potentially you'd want to do when you're older, and I kind of didn't really know what, but I watched stand-up comedy and I was like, well, that, I just gave it as an answer because they wouldn't stop asking. And then my mum said, all right then, do it then. Like she kind of opened my eyes that it was an actual job, and she took it seriously as well as a job. And anyway, so then years later, my brother gave me Amy Poehler's book and Tina Fey's book, and I read them, and they both said that they started off doing improv and they loved it so much, and it got them into the world of comedy. So I Googled Improv Berlin English, and right round the corner, within a 10-minute walk, was the Comedy Cafe Berlin.
Yeah.
And so basically I had no excuse to not do anything. You know what I mean? I could basically walk there. I don't have an excuse to not do it, apart from being a wussy, and I don't want to be a wussy, so I did it. And and that's how I got into it. I loved that, but I knew that I wanted to do stand-up, so I signed up for a stand-up for beginner course. Within 20 minutes of doing that course, I really thought to myself, I should have quit school when I was 16 and just dedicated my life to this because I love it so much. You know what I mean?
How old were you when you first went to the Comedy Cafe?
That was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've been doing stand-up for like 2.5.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
So are you then you're in the neighborhood now?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah.
My first place was like 2 blocks from there.
Oh, nice.
On an LA, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Shame you always get kicked out. I'm not kicked out, but
It's the Berlin nomadic.
Yeah.
I don't have that luxury to keep moving around permanently because I'm not in the EU, but like I know people who've been here for fucking 3 or 4 years and still don't have a permanent place.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That is stressful.
Yeah, but they can do that because like they're an EU member, whereas I have like visa restrictions in terms of how long I can stay and do that.
Shit.
Yeah. I've been the Comedy Cafe that's primarily improv, right? Mm-hmm. But they have a couple stand-up nights here and there.
Yeah, they have stand-up nights too, yeah.
Cool. And then where there's like a stand-up school or something?
They teach there a lot. I mean, they use those rooms and other rooms, but Caroline Clifford actually.
Okay, so also at the Comedy Cafe.
No, her course wasn't there, but I just mixed that up. But yeah, okay. She definitely has a course. They're associated with each other.
So what kind of stuff does when you go in? I mean, obviously you're a big fan of stand-up.
Yeah.
What does one teach you like at a stand-up comedy class?
They just kind of give you an idea of capturing a train of thought, and they give you an essence of what a joke is. So we do different things. Like, for example, she tells us to write down a really negative sentence. Like a really bad, like bad news,
Okay.
And then we all wrote that down, like 5 examples. And then she said, right, now give it a positive twist.
So,
and then,
something like I have cancer.
I have cancer.
Yeah.
And I don't know what a positive twist on that would be. But if you gave that a positive twist, then essentially that would be a joke.
I think the sympathy, people finally feeling important to people in their lives could be a thing. I
have breast cancer, but that means free boob job. No, whatever, something like that.
Sure.
Jesus, that was bad.
I mean, I think there's something there, you know.
I do not represent Caroline Clifford's course. So they teach you like an essence of a joke, like the destruction of an expectation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they get, you get experience on stage and doing it in front of the other people in your course. It's just like holding your hand for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Do
So
they?
nice.
Do you then like get up? Like, do they have like a?
They have like a course show. Yeah.
Right. And how did you feel going through that? Like,
that was like that was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
But it was super fun, and I knew I wanted to do it again. And I was just proud of myself for doing it. You know what I mean? Obviously, like you cringe a little bit because you do know it's like not good. You know what I mean? But it's all about doing it. So.
Did they do the thing, or did you do the thing where like when you had the show where you like invited all your friends to come to it? Was that a thing?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I always tell people to try to not do that. Not that I'm some expert, but like it's your first time. Like it's probably not. It's like, let me get it down a little bit and then.
Yeah, but I don't mind like failing in front of my friends because they're just there to show support. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mummy, look at me. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
sure,
like
sure.
It's not. I don't give a fuck about what they think. They don't know. They're not funny.
I guess in my experience in like the States, like you only get one or two shots to get people to come. Like people will always say like, oh, let me know when your next show is. And then you let them know when your 10 next shows are. And then they don't come out to any of them.
I never tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I just don't want to like blow my load, so to speak, on like the early stuff. I'm like,
no. I know what you mean. I invite people to showcases. Like I don't, not.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out, like, because it does operate quite differently here than the States in terms of showcase versus open mic, where, like, the open mics are kind of booked ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then there's paying audiences.
Yeah.
So then, like, and being new here, I'm like, I don't want to do, like, completely new shit in front of, like, producers who's never seen me.
Yeah.
A paying audience or whatever. Versus, like, a kind of a show up to sign up and just fucking flail your way.
Yeah, there are a lot of like semi showcases where, you're right, like they don't pay, but sometimes there's a paying audience or they expect you to not try any material. It's kind of weird. I mean, the scene's growing and there's not like a lot of money in it, so I think people are just like trying to find a way to make money. You know what I mean? It's weird, but
Well, I think that's one of the things that's exciting about it is that it feels young to me. It feels new, and but that there's not a ton of paths that have been carved.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as like an opportunity to carve more.
Definitely, yeah.
And like, I get a sense that sometimes like some people are like, well, this is how it operates because it doesn't operate any other way. But I think that it can operate other ways. It's just maybe that hasn't been demonstrated yet.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So I'm excited by some of those prospects.
Yeah, no, I'm super looking forward to what the future holds for the scene because it's popping. Like the scene is fucking popping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in 5 years, 2 years ago we basically didn't have any comedy clubs. Like Cosmic Comedy, doesn't really count as a comedy club because they don't have any, external shows there, or not often at least. But like in the last 2 years, the scene has grown so massively. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like we've got 2 full-time comedy clubs now.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what can happen in terms of, like you kind of alluded to this, like external, like booking, like comedians traveling through and like bringing them here.
Yeah.
Versus like sourcing mainly from the city itself.
Yeah.
I mean, which obviously is like good for the people who live here.
Yeah.
But
I think the clubs are planning on doing stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It would be cool because like Berlin is such an international city. I don't know if it's like universally like regarded as like an English speaking city.
Yeah. People
first.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously London's a hub for celebrities and comedians to come through and I was talking to Bruno about like I would love to create some kind of like variety type show where it was more like almost like a Graham Norton kind of style
cool,
thing.
yeah.
Because like American celebrities fly over there all the time to do press with him, you know.
Yeah.
If Berlin could be like another stop off for that kind of a thing.
For celebrities?
Yeah.
Like Jamie Foxx?
Sure. Why not?
Here.
Let's get Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, there's clearly German or otherwise, there's an audience here to consume English speaking content.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I haven't seen a movie yet in Germany, but like I looked at the queue or whatever, and at least the places I was looking, like over half of them were English speaking movies.
Yeah. No, they have cinemas that exclusively play English films.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, it's crazy how big the scene is here.
Yeah. So
I'm excited now.
Well, yeah.
After hearing you go on. Yeah.
Yeah. At what point did you feel like, okay, you've gone from okay, I did this stand-up class and then I've done a couple open mics, like starting to gain some confidence on stage?
Never.
No?
No, a little bit. It goes up and down though. You know, you have like a hot streak and then you bomb or you get sick of your jokes or, you know, it goes up and down. I'm coming out of a down right now. So, I feel like when I look back, it's like, well, I've never been confident, which is a lie, is my, you know, whatever, depression talking. But, yeah, you go up and down, but I feel like if you have more good shows than bad shows, then you're onto something, you know what I mean? And if you have more bad shows than good shows, then you need to go back and work on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's so hard about what you just said for me is like, I'll have this. I mean, this happened specifically here, where like I did a set and it just fucking murdered. Like it really did.
Good for you.
I mean, yeah.
Not like before the time that you mentioned beforehand. Not murdered like that. No. Sorry, no.
No. But then like 2 days later, it ran the exact same thing, different place.
Yeah.
Top 2 or 3 bombs of my life.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the fuck? Like really bad. And
shit.
It was in front of a new producer and I'm like, this guy thinks I'm fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I hate that.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? I couldn't, apart from the fact that like I went first that time.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't attribute it to anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then you're like, well, okay, if you just got off that one set, you'd be like, those jokes are fucking shit. Yeah. But then you go back to the other set where I'm like, I don't, you know, so then I get kind of, I don't know what to do about the material in terms of like, do you just toss it or are you like?
I mean, it all depends. You can always go over and rewrite. And also, do you record yourself?
I do. I usually do, especially if I'm doing something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I record myself, but I don't listen to it because it's so cringe. Like, I just can't, you know what I mean? Yeah. Can you listen to yourself talk? Oh, I mean, you got a podcast. I just can't get enough.
Can't get enough, no. Yeah, I'll listen to, I'll watch it. I usually will do video if I'm going to record it, to see if it's something I want to put online to send to future bookers. Yeah. Right. And like, so usually like I'll run, depending on the time I'm given, like more or less the same set. And then like amongst those 3 recordings I have, I'll pick the best one to like upload or whatever. But then there's times when I'm like, dude, I fucking nailed it. And then I'll watch back and I'm like, it wasn't as good as I thought it was. Yeah. But yeah, that's something also like I'm trying to figure out how to build like, but you basically like, right, you're trying to like build up to an hour ideally. But having the time, like, no, like I keep running the same stuff because again, I'm in front of new producers and I'm like, well, I want to do my A game kind of stuff. Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think like people hosting shows, getting to fuck around a little bit and like throw in new stuff is a viable way to go in terms of building out that material.
Oh, sorry. I thought someone was knocking.
Oh. No, we're in a very noisy, like, at any point in the next hour, you'll either hear kids, like, running up and down the hallway, big trucks unloading shit over there.
It's charming. It's nice.
Yeah. I'll, when we're done with this, I'll, you know, see you off safely
Yeah.
down the dark
Thank you.
No,
I did actually get a little bit scared looking out the window. No,
it's yeah. So we're on the ground floor here, and it's really weird because like if you turn around, like literally if people are walking across the street, they have a direct eye line into like.
Yeah. I always stare into people's windows. I'm that creep.
You can't avoid it here because it's a narrow one-way street, and so everyone's always looking in. So I can't do it. I have to, constantly have the curtains closed if I'm going to do anything untoward.
Or, you know what you could do? You could just print out a picture of like a cock and stick it on your window, and people will like look once and then be like, oh, and never look again. You know what I mean? You could do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people that might even entice them to look in for it. But
a really disgusting cock.
Well, yeah. So in terms of like what your, what would be like the dream for you with comedy?
Billionaire status.
Mm-hmm.
No. Oh my God, no.
There's only like 3, like Ellen. What? 3. There's actual billionaire comedians.
What the fuck? Ellen's a billionaire.
Yeah, but that's all from her daytime.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Oh my God. No, the dream for me would to be. I'd like to have my own. Oh well, I really want to write either a film or a series. I don't know yet. This is like long-term goals. This is like not in the next 2 years or anything. Yeah. Or maybe, who knows? But that and to sell that, obviously, not just write it. That would be really that would like be really cool. And also being able to make a living off of stand-up comedy. That's the dream, yeah.
Like touring around.
Yeah, either that or maybe having a show of sorts. I mean, nowadays you have YouTube, you have Netflix, you know what I mean? You don't have to go anywhere. You can just, do it here.
Sure.
Maybe that. We'll see. But definitely some form of, being able to make an actual middle-class living off of it. That is a dream.
Right.
But I can go on holiday every year from my comedy money. That is my dream.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know, obviously there's a number of people that we do kind of see either based here or that come through here a lot, kind of doing this like European circuit thing.
Yeah. It's massive, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how they make money. Just in terms of like looking at like, okay, it's €10 a ticket or something like that. Maybe it's a 30 to 40 person venue or something.
Well, there's a Euro train, so there's actually a route. You can plan different routes, and it's quite cheap to get around.
Okay.
So like traveling within Europe, if you're an EU citizen, is like it can be cheap if done correctly. And also, you can get like 60 to 80 people in a lot of these places. And a lot of the times they're actually sold out. So they are making money. And certainly if you go to the Nordic countries where you can charge a little bit more, and you're only staying there for a night or two. So how much is it going to fucking cost? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and then I was wondering, like, is that a thing where like people then just like crash on other people's couches there?
I think hostel and stuff like that is the choice at the moment. But.
I would love to. That's just fascinating to me in terms of
Yeah.
working
I really
want
to do. There's a whole German tour, like English speaking German tour that you can do.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I need to do that. I would like to do that just even regardless of comedy.
Yeah.
Like see the red. Germany's maybe not. Well, I don't know. I don't know how you feel. I'll ask the Berliner. There's very beautiful places in Germany.
Yeah.
Alps and lakes and. I don't know if like the Ringbahn area of Berlin is like the most gorgeous.
Okay. Yeah.
But my
No.
I was told I have to go to Hamburg. Like that. This is like a.
Ew, who said that?
Really, I've literally had. I'm not even joking. In the last like 3 days, I've had 4 different Germans tell me like this is the most beautiful city in Germany.
I mean, for fucking creeps. No, because they've got that red light district. You know what I mean? It's just like.
I don't know.
I bet you like that city. No. I mean, I don't like Hamburg just because I'm from Berlin, so I think Berlin is like the best city. But it kind of just is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's not an opinion. That is my opinion. You know what I mean? No, I wouldn't say Hamburg. You know what?
In terms of sheer aesthetics.
In terms of sheer aesthetics, I
thought Leipzig was gorgeous. No, the architecture and the churches.
Yeah. I mean, what didn't get bombed down It looks good, yeah. Actually, yeah, I agree with that.
I know, like people from outside the city don't want to be like, I thought Bavaria was beautiful. Like,
yeah, no, it's true. And also in Germany, you can go skiing and go to the beach all in the same country.
Right.
And, go wandering in mountains and stuff, if that's what you like.
I went to a place called Oberammergau, I think.
Wow.
Does this ring a bell?
No, it sounds like you're having a stroke, though. So.
It reminded, the way I remembered is...
Wait, what's it called? Sorry.
I am sure I'm fucking this up, but like Oberammergau?
Oberammergau.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pronouncing it correctly, though.
It was, the way I remembered is it sounded like that song, the Whoopum Gangnam Style.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like, it's like a small Bavarian town, and it's supposedly where like the first Austrian...
dictator.
Strudel?
Oh, Strudel. Already.
Yeah. Made it into Germany.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this, but
that's like a very random fact. And you were there in that city?
This is when I visited Germany like 3 years ago.
Strudel adventure.
Yeah. And I did Bavaria, and then I came to Berlin to visit. Definitely not spelling this right to look that up, but anyway. Yeah, whatever. I haven't had the time, like, until like I find like a job and like settle an apartment here. Like I don't want to play tourist in Germany.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like every moment I feel like is a wasted chance to find housing or do a show. Or whatever. But
Germany is nice though. Yeah, you should go. You should go traveling. Have you been to the Nordsee or Ostsee, like the beaches?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you should go there. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and go over to Poland as well.
There's a place I just learned about today from a Tinder girl. It's like there's some island like between here and Poland up in the north. You know what I'm talking
between
about?
Here and Poland. Oh, Zuid.
No.
Rügen?
No. Keep going. I don't know.
I mean, I don't. Those are the two I know.
Yeah.
I stopped talking to people after they say stuff like that.
It started with like a U. Anyway, well, this is just...
It'd be funny if she meant Denmark. Like, that island? No. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
that
well,
island,
then there's someone else I just was talking to from like the Faroe Islands. Yeah, that's cool.
Where's that?
It's a Danish... it's a autonomous Danish part of the Kingdom of Denmark.
Oh, shit.
Kind of, yeah. And it's between Denmark and Iceland.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like you have to zoom in so far on Google Maps to see it.
Well, good for them that they own that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you done comedy outside of Berlin at all?
I have not, no. Because, I mean, I started comedy like a year before the coronavirus.
Right.
So
right.
I have not yet traveled.
Right. During that time, you haven't been out of...
Yeah, no, I haven't traveled at all. Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, but not for like...
oh, yeah, not for a holiday, but...
No, I was in Ecuador when the pandemic started.
Oh, shit.
But like living in New York.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like... all the borders closed. I was quarantined in Ecuador.
Oh, nice.
It was great because New York City was a shithole at that time.
Yeah.
And like all my roommates got corona. And I had like this gorgeous hostel view overlooking Quito.
Yeah.
And like,
nice.
Yeah. And then I decided I was going to move to Germany, but we got banned from here because of our corona numbers.
Yeah.
So I moved to Albania.
Shit.
Yeah. And then I got into grad school here.
Oh, nice.
So then I moved here.
What are you studying?
Oh, I hate to say it.
Go on.
It's the only thing. There's two things that you can get for free here in Berlin. Like public school system.
Yeah.
One is British studies, and the other is North American studies.
Oh, yeah.
And British studies was full. So, so North American studies.
Oh, nice. That's interesting, though.
It's just the school sucks, and the program it's just so theoretical. And a lot of it's not even about North America. Like we're studying like 300-year-old German philosophers, which is fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't even relate to the subject. Like
yeah.
So.
No, for North American studies, I think for practical, you'd have to join the Marines. I think.
Yeah. I thought so. German system, or maybe it's all of Europe, but it's different. Like in the U.S., you have half theory, half like praxis in terms of like I was a theater major, so I studied Isadora Duncan and fucking Brecht and all this stuff. But
I don't know. Oh, Brecht. Okay, yeah. I was just about to say, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
But also, we wrote plays and we directed scenes and
nice.
we learned how to do theatrical lighting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought like I was going to focus on literature and culture here, that I would be writing and we would be like, there was a stand-up comedy class, which is actually awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I thought we were going to also do stand-up comedy and stuff.
Wait,
and
what school?
Fly Universität. FU.
Really? There's a stand-up comedy course there?
It's a visiting British professor, yeah. So I don't know if they'll stick around. But,
oh, wow.
It's comedy and media, which ends up being watching a lot of. It's the best class I've taken there.
Yeah,
I actually interviewed him on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Ends up being a lot of talking about comedy theory and like watching and that's super fucking cool. But like I took like a writing form class and it wasn't about how to do these things. It was more just like theoretically looking at old authors and like the form they use. So my point is, it doesn't really have like a practical aspect. Like for like, no one's going to be deciding who to book for a show, and they're like, "Oh, this guy has his master's in North American studies. We should get him on the show."
If you do want to do a course, a writing course, an advanced one, Caroline Clifford actually has one, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So.
I mean, budget is the other thing, is that these are all free because they're.
Oh yeah,
it's public.
Course.
You can. I met someone the other night who's taking a film making course in English for a master's, but it's private, and so she's paying like 10,000 euro a semester. Like,
yeah, it's difficult.
So, in terms of, I don't know where I was going with this question. Okay, you had mentioned if you're comfortable talking about this, you'd mentioned like, depression.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Is that something that you feel that you endure?
Yeah. I mean, I got diagnosed with depression when I was like a teenager. Yeah, I mean, my view on it is it's just a part of not who I am, but it's just how my brain works. You know what I mean? I've come to accept that my brain just works like that. It does what it wants to sometimes, and it doesn't produce enough happy hormones all the time. And it is what it is, but it's not like a constant state. Like it's up and down. Yeah, you know.
How would it? I mean, and I've dealt in varying degrees with all sorts of different issues. How would it manifest itself? Like.
Usually I just like, I'm a hole crawler. Like I'll crawl into a hole, I'll bury myself into a hole. I won't like answer my phone. I won't, do stuff, whatever. If I have something that I need to do, I won't do it. And then I won't answer my phone. You know what I mean? Just and then obviously I feel guilty, and then that makes me feel even worse. Just, the classic, but that's the thing is I know that it's happening.
Right.
So I can build up the courage and strength to like rip myself out of it and be like, all right, get up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes just like forcing yourself to go through the motions, like, like, I don't know if I'm articulating this right, but like, you can be like, I don't want to do this thing, but you know that if you do this thing, in the process of doing it, it'll almost bring about the desire after the fact.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
No, definitely. Yeah. The first step's the hardest.
Yeah. What's the attitude in Germany? Growing up, we were told, interestingly, despite like the whole psychotherapy thing here, that like oftentimes in Europe, like if you deal with mental illness or depression, it's just like therapy's not really well regarded, or like medicating yourself or. When
I was a teenager, like a lot of my friends went to therapy. It wasn't really a thing for me. And also my parents just they were so open about it, and it's just support, and it's just someone teaching you how to handle your shit, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was quite lucky that I was in like an open environment where it was like, oh, good for you. Yeah. Go get that help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What kind of environment did you grow up in?
I mean, so I grew up in, kind of I call it like a very American family, which doesn't mean like gun toting, but just like chasing like a Christian household, suburban household, and like chasing the American dream. Like, okay, we're going to have our 2 kids, and SUV and
pay off the mortgage. Get on with it,
and my parents came from a generation where like you didn't have to have a college degree and you could end up owning a house. Whereas like I just turned 36 and I'm like, I just blew through any retirement savings I had from like my government, like, you know, buying a house. What the I don't even know where I'm going to live in 3 weeks. I can't. So I think like just even in terms of people my age, like I was one of the first generations in the States to be like, oh shit, like this capitalism, like the economy's not working out for our generation the way it did for previous ones. And so that caused a great deal of like anxiety and depression and like, yeah, but I mean, also just me naturally, like, yeah, we're all black in a trench coat in high school. Like, I was that kid who...
What, you wore a black trench coat in high school?
Oh, yeah, I have pictures.
Oh, my God. I'd be scared for my life. I'd be scared that you'd try and run amok. You know what I mean?
Run a what?
Run amok.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that was... With a black trench coat in school, I'd be like, oh, my God, is he a pedo in the making?
Excuse me. Yeah. No, it was more like... This was... Do you know what Columbine was?
Oh, yeah, Columbine, the high school shooting thing.
Yeah, and it got the most, I think it's like the biggest school shooting to date, but it also got like the most media attention because it was like right after like the 24-hour news cycle had kind of started in the US, and they were falsely attributed to being part of this thing called the Trench Coat Mafia, which was like a bunch of kids who wore all black in a trench coat and whatever. But nonetheless, they got associated with these guys.
Okay, what is the Trench Coat Mafia?
It was just a
bunch of dudes wearing trench coats together.
In high school, they just called themselves a Trench Coat Mafia.
Oh my God, I'll stay away from them.
No, but the thing is like the first like couple hours they were reporting that the Trench Coat Mafia did the shooting at Columbine.
Yeah.
And they didn't. But it was just, well, yeah, it's probably those kids wearing all black in a trench coat.
Yeah.
So, but it was forever stamped with that, like,
I don't know who did it, but if I had to guess, it was the dude in the trench coat.
That was basically the idea. And so a couple years after, like, yeah, I was always a very shy kid, always very like introspective, and I got picked on a lot. And shockingly not a very cool kid.
No, I think it's a shock.
And I ended up deciding I don't look like these people, I don't talk like them, I don't think like them, I don't even want to look like them. And so intentionally I started dressing in all black and trench coat to create that connotation of like, don't fuck with me. And the sad thing is it worked to a degree. Like the kids, like some of the kids who would bully me and like slap me on the back of the neck and all that kind of stuff. As soon I walked in, I'd wear glasses from the Matrix, like inside sunglasses. And I would like, this guy went to slap me and I turned him and I was just like, don't. And then he was like, never touched me again.
Oh my God.
So it's sad that like fear and intimidation would work that way.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do. And if people have to think you're psycho for them to not fuck with you, then you go loco.
That was basically, sadly kind of how that worked. So like
good for you. Yeah, at least you had a defense mechanism, because I mean, some people don't develop one and they just get fucked with, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think that also definitely helped with like my appreciation of comedy and like learning how to like attack people with my words, you know? But,
sweet.
Yeah. But I deal with, existential is like crisis all the time. I mean, today included. Like,
oh, that's nice.
I think for me it's hard with like I think I need routine to keep me focused.
Definitely.
But with stand-up it's hard. We were kind of talking about this before because you kind of have to be very self-disciplined. Yeah. Because when I go out and I do a show, that part I can do great, but then it's like I'm not one of those comedians who's like, okay, thank you so much, I'm gonna go home and go to bed at 11 p.m. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get up in the morning, write for 2 hours.
Yeah, it can be difficult because the setting is, you know, people are laughing and want to have fun and have a drink, and it's like you really need to pull yourself back and be like, no, I'm not here to drink. I'm here to, you know, practice. I'm here to do my shit.
Yeah.
Or if you're getting paid, you know, it's your job at that point.
Yeah.
Or in that moment at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. I've set a little rule for myself that I don't really drink before shows. Sometimes I break that rule a little bit just because I'm nervous and it's like, fuck this. But I don't just think like, oh, I'll have a beer beforehand because why not? Nah, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't have good shows when I'm not prepared. You know,
it's not the before part that's my problem. It's the
yeah, sorry, yeah, you were talking about not controlling yourself afterwards. Yeah,
it's yeah. If I
get a pet.
I've thought of like, or have a child.
Have a child. Yeah.
I've thought like, I'd love to have a dog, but can't live the life that I live with a dog. But maybe that's the answer. It's just getting a dog.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
And then putting it down if it doesn't work.
Or, some people bring their dog to the show.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cute. I like it.
Incorporate it into the act.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I have a bad set, it's like, fuck, I want a drink. And then if I have a great set, I'm like, yay, let's have a drink.
Yeah.
I just need to have those mediocre sets.
Yeah.
Have you were talking earlier about like dating, you have a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm not dating really right now, but like sometimes that got difficult, that thing I'm talking about, like going out at night and that kind of thing. And like, if my partner had like a day job, then the nighttime is their free time. And like, has that come up logistically at all?
I mean, sometimes it can be annoying because I work nights, and so on the nights I don't work, I want to try and do a show. So, it can happen that like, whatever, I'm just out for like 6-7 nights a week, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, you figure it out. We've been going out for so long as well. Like, we see each other. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Actually comes with me as well sometimes, so
yeah,
that hasn't affected anything yet. I mean, but like I said, but sometimes it's a little bit annoying for her because I always say like, yeah, I'll come back after my set, and then sometimes I don't because I have a drink, and then just as you're finishing your one beer, someone's like, oh, I'll invite you to a beer, you know what I mean? And then it's like, I stay out a little bit later because I can't help myself. But I mean, it's not like a problem,
Yeah.
I mean?
I would have it where they'd be like, yeah, I want to come out to your show to support you. I'm like, okay, awesome. And then like the second time they'd come out because I'm doing a comedy. Yeah, like I think people don't realize how frequently you can do shows.
Yeah.
They come on the second time, like, okay, cool. And then by the third time, they're like, so is this just what it is it's like, oh, I've seen that guy's jokes before. I've seen your jokes before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the thing.
My friends are sick and tired. Yeah. I asked my brother today if he wants to come to my show and he said, oh, no. Yeah. He just, whatever. And you have to fake laugh if you come in with someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all the hosts put my fucking girlfriend right in the front row and she hates it because she doesn't want to watch a bunch of fucking amateur comedians try out new material. Yeah. She doesn't give a fuck, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you've got to pretend, you can't be rude, you know what I mean?
I'll have people who've gone to shows want to come to shows, and then I get I don't know, I'm just like, I don't want to do the same material in front of them, but I also know that the other however many people in the audience haven't seen me do stuff before, and so I want to do my best stuff for them.
Yeah.
But then I'm also maybe losing a customer in my friends because they're gonna be like, oh, well, I don't want to come if it's the same shit.
Because you get it. I mean, I think for audience, like if you hear the exact same set over and over again, or like again, then that's off-putting. But if you just know, if it's like, oh, I know this joke, I don't think that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but I'm trying to build into this hour where it's like this joke naturally follows this joke.
Yeah.
So like I have this like a 7-minute chunk. It's hard to do minute 6 without doing minute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like so to swap them in and out. I'm trying to actually stop doing that so that I can actually get this like cohesive through line. But
have you tried out which jokes were best in a particular order? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I have like I can't start with the middle or closer shit because I really swing for the fences with some of my stuff.
Okay.
Like jokes that I retired in the U.S. because I thought that
they were too edgy, too dark. Or what?
Yeah, and then they work here. So I brought those, and so I've actually taken like 3 different closers, but put them into the middle part. But I can't start off with that kind of shit. I start off with really dumb try to ease them up kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of drug talk in the beginning gets people laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of people, especially like people to come to the show, like other expats who are also like in the Berlin scene.
Yeah.
They fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you ate anything you ate, and they will give you cocaine after the show. Like they love that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have jokes about the you ate and cocaine in the same joke.
Hey,
So yeah. I actually find it much more pleasurable to do comedy here because there is like a unified sense of community with the expats. Like, we're all fish out of water.
Yeah.
And then even for the Germans, like, I think there's a sense of, because you're at an English-speaking show, there's a little bit of a sense of like distancing yourself from being like German, Does that make
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to that sentence, sorry.
I'm saying there's like a sense of unity at an English-speaking comedy show. Like we're all kind of fish out of water to some degree.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
So
everyone ran away from something.
I think the audiences here are really supportive and cool.
Yeah. A lot of tourists as well who just like want to come out for a laugh,
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. Well, Faye, do you have any shows coming up or stuff you want to promote in terms of social media and all that?
Oh yeah. Follow me on Instagram if you want to, called OK Fay Baby. And
okay, is it O? The letters O and K or O-K-A-Y?
The letters O and K.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Okay, and Faye is written F-A-Y without an E. And if you are called Faye and it's written with an E at the end, I don't like you. All right? That's what I have to say. Also, I love you, Shireen.
Cool. For me, follow me at Eric on the World. Faye, thank you so much for coming in and talking.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And here I go. And no matter where you are in the world, until next week, be well and be loved.